is going on? Why is there so much smoke? Really? I got an idea. Welcome, I am the Kaiju no Kami. This is it. Ever since the return of Godzilla in 1984, this is where the series has been heading. Godzilla has been getting fatter with each installment because he is about to go nuclear. Godzilla vs. Destoroyah was originally going to pit Godzilla up against a ghost of the original Godzilla, but Toho acted against it due to the last two movies having a Godzilla-like adversary. As such, we got something else instead. A monster mutated by the very device that was used to destroy the original Godzilla. And now it is time to reveal the grand finale that is Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. Mickey is headed out to Birth Island when she finds the island to be gone, and in its place is a smoldering cloud of smoke. Godzilla rampages through Hong Kong covered in what looks to be lava and steam, and his beam is now a full orangey color. During a G-Force meeting, we meet member and psychic Meru Ozawa, played by Sayaka Osawa. She introduces everyone to Dr. Marvin, who explains that Godzilla's heart is a nuclear reactor. Marvin then tells everyone that this discovery came from a Japanese student by the name of Kenichi Yamane. Yasufumi Hayashi performs the role of Kenichi, who is approached by one of the representatives of G-Force in hopes of recruiting him to help out with the situation at hand. Together they come to the conclusion that Godzilla is on the verge of exploding and taking the world with him. At the same time all of this is happening, we also meet Kenichi's older sister Yukari, played by Yoko Ishino, who is a news reporter. She is interviewing a scientist named Kansaku Ijuin, played by Takuro Tatsumi, and he has just created a new method to help mankind grow crops called the micro-oxygen. Unfortunately, her grandmother Emiko, reprised by Momoko Kochi, believes it is too similar to the oxygen destroyer that had been created by Serizawa back in 1954. Strange occurrences have been happening at a dig site, and Ijuin investigates what may be causing it by studying some dirt samples. It is also revealed that this is the very location where the oxygen destroyer was used on the original Godzilla. They discover life signs within one of the beakers, which turned out to be housing a little creature that kills the fish in an aquarium using the abilities of Serizawa's creation. Kenichi comes to realize that recreating the oxygen destroyer may be the only way to save the Earth from Godzilla going nuclear, while Emiko is upset for it means Serizawa would have died for nothing. That night, several creatures are running amok, causing massive amounts of destruction. The police track them down into a waterfront factory, and a special forces unit is dispatched to contain the situation. This leads to a very familiar looking sequence of events. Where have I seen this before?
multiple signals. They're closing.
Several of the not Space Marines are killed by the OD Xenomorphs, and the battle leads outside where Yukari is nearly killed by one. Oh, and if you didn't think it was already ripping off the Alien franchise, check this out. The Super X-3 is unveiled and it is sent out to intercept Godzilla. Strangely enough though, the ship is now once again piloted from within rather than being controlled by remote. I'm not sure why they did it, but whatever. This new model of the ship has been loaded with missiles that will be able to freeze Godzilla for several hours in the hopes of cooling him down until a more permanent solution is discovered. Ijuin finds a way to freeze the micro-oxygen out of the crustacean-like creatures, which should kill them. As such, the military is now armed with cryo-weapons to stop them. Little Godzilla, now called Junior, surfaces on a beach which pleases Mickey to no end. The military realizes that Godzilla is following Junior and that Godzilla is now on the verge of a meltdown. So this time, instead of outright exploding, he is just going to melt a hole through the earth and destroy it from within. The Defense Force attacks the crustacean monsters with their new cryo-weapons, causing them all to merge into a bigger monster, which soon flies away in a third form. A plan is formed to bring Junior to the location of Destoroyah in order to lure Godzilla to the spot to fight the Red Destroyer. Now this is funny. Look at those people standing there. They're just casually watching Destoroyah fly by as if they don't have a care in the world. Yeah, this kind of takes me out of the immersion of the movie. Junior and Destoroyah battle each other for some time, but it ends with Junior being nearly killed. Godzilla rises out of the sea, and why are the cars just driving normally and in the direction Godzilla is coming from? Destoroyah emerges from the fire with another form.
My perfect form, the perfect body, the perfect power, the fulfillment of my purpose. Truly marvelous.
The Super X-3 is sent out once again while Destoroyah finishes Junior off and blows up Miki Ozawa's helicopter. No, sadly they weren't on it, but they were close to it. However, their character shields were up to full power, so they are left unaffected by the explosion. Godzilla's lament of Junior's death is short-lived as Destoroyah resumes his attack on the walking weapon of mass destruction.
Do I make you horny, baby?
The battle wages on for some time as Yukari and Ijuin rescue Miki and Ozawa. Soon, Godzilla starts to melt down, so the military interrupts the battle to attack Destoroyah, destroying him.
Of course!
Wait, the military just destroyed Destoroyah, not Godzilla. I think this means the military is due for some applause. What do you think, Charles? Godzilla's temperature reaches 1200 degrees Celsius, so the military finally proceeds to stop him from destroying everything around him. They are successful in halting his meltdown, and the beast melts from within until he is nothing more than bone.
What do you say we get some air, huh?
Everyone is saddened to see Godzilla go, especially Mickey.
これが私たちの償いなの。
償い。
核をもてあそんだ私たち人類の。
Then in the smoke, the roars of Godzilla are heard and we see a silhouette of the monster. What does it mean? Well, I personally always thought it was just meant to be symbolic that Godzilla will always be around in our hearts. But apparently that's not what Toho thought. Toho actually wanted that to be Junior affected by the radiation from Godzilla's meltdown in an adult form, just in case they wanted to do more movies with this incarnation of Godzilla. So what do I think about the movie overall? Well, it is not a terrible movie by any means. It is certainly better than the last few entries we have had thus far. The plot brings something new and fresh to the table, while also bringing homages to the original movie in order to celebrate the end of this version of Godzilla. The characters are not all that spectacular, but they do have some good moments. Mickey realized she may be losing her power, so the timing is perfect as it means she will just be a normal person. She is also against the idea of using Junior as bait, which shows how much she cares for these creatures, but I feel like her decision to just go ahead and do it anyway kind of ruins that moment. It isn't bad, as she clearly knows this is the only way to save the world, but I feel it weakens her character. Unfortunately though, we have had her over the course of 6 movies, and there isn't too much to speak of her. Each movie it could have been a different character entirely in her place, and the movies would have moved on the same. I like the inclusion of Yamane's family, and bringing Emiko back was a nice touch, but like Takarada in Godzilla vs. Mothra, it feels like a wasted opportunity. She doesn't do much but whine, which shows that her character hasn't grown at all with age. She is still that whiny girl from 40 years ago. Kenichi and Yukari were pretty worthless as far as characters go. Kenichi is only memorable because of his age and who his father is, Shinichi, whom Yamane had adopted in the original, but nothing comes out of it. It would have been nice if Shinichi had also been featured here. Yukari is about as bright as coal. In fact, as much as I was trying not to use a main character for my Darwin nominee awards, I can't resist this one, because Yukari is just flat out stupid. What an idiot she is, as she could have easily gotten away before one of the Destoroyahs attacked her, but did not. She only survives because a Juin decided to rescue her even though she could have gotten out of that car on her own. Bravo! Yay! Speaking of a Juin, I've been watching this movie for 15 years now, and I'm still not sure what to think about this guy. He is the smartest moron yet in this series, as he seriously believes that his invention will never be used for evil. And then he blames his denial on being a romantic. This man makes the scientist from Prometheus look intelligent. Lastly, I'm not sure why Ozawa needed to be here though, because Mickey could have just been fine on her own. She doesn't bring anything new to the psychic ability aspect of the series, making her irrelevant to the plot. Characters aside, let's talk about the effects and miniatures. They are both clunky, as it were. Some of the miniatures, such as those used in the battle between Junior and Destoroyah and Godzilla's attack on Hong Kong, look great, while others carry the same issues they have for the last several entries. These monsters are just way too big for their own good, as it makes some miniatures look cheaper and rushed. The explosions look fake at times, especially when the not Space Marines are fighting the little Destoroyahs. Hell, this scene looks just terrible, as the creature was clearly not destroyed, just cut from the scene when the bad fire effects appeared. I like the Super X3's design, but as I said before, I find it weird that it is now manually piloted. I do like that the pilot commander is supposed to be Kuroki from Biollante. However, it would have been nice if he had had a bigger role in the movie. There is not a character moment to be found, which is such a disappointment and a waste of his character. The Godzilla suit is just downright awesome. Yeah, I'm still not a fan of the huge thighs, but I love the concept and ideas behind it. The orange glow makes for a really great looking suit, and the lighting of it looks amazing. My only complaint is how the orange spines just suddenly stop, and the rest are just standard color. There should have been some type of fade used instead. That aside, I love his head because those eyes just really pop in the night scenes. It isn't perfect, as it does seem like the lights were on the verge of burning out towards the end of the movie. Godzilla Jr. is thankfully skinny again. I like how he looks similar to Godzilla, but still retains his own features to make him different. The only thing I would have changed on him would be probably the placement and size of those spines. As for Destoroyah, this is where things get a little bit tricky. His gimmicks are ripped straight out of Alien, which really harms the appeal of his little crustacean form. The flying form is cool though, but like Space Godzilla, he doesn't do much. Sadly, his perfect form is anything but. I like his overall design, but he is just way too big to be able to do anything. He can barely move on his own, and he looks very robotic when he is landing. It doesn't allow him to be an effective monster. Hell, the military were the ones to kill him, making him probably the weakest of them all. I do like the idea of him being made from the oxygen destroyer though, as that was a nice touch. His battle with Junior is probably the best Godzilla fight we have had since Ghidorah. Once again, Akira Ifukube knocked the score out of the park. The opening bit when Godzilla is attacking Hong Kong sounds phenomenal. I love the use of the drums and the trumpets in it. Destoroyah's theme is pretty good too, but it does pale to the 93 Mechagodzilla theme. Unfortunately, this will also be the last time he does a score for a Godzilla movie. It is also the last time Tomoyuki Tanaka will produce a movie, as he passed away in 1997. As such, this movie not only marked the end of the Heisei series, but also the end of an era, as none of the fathers of Godzilla will be back for the next saga. Despite its positives, Godzilla vs. Destoroyah is far from a perfect film. I do feel that it is a middle-of-the-road film overall, but it is definitely one of the best of the Heisei series. Honestly though, if it wasn't for the death scene of Godzilla's meltdown, the movie would probably not be as highly praised as it is. Nevertheless, it is definitely worth checking out, as it does bring some closure to a series that did kind of trudge up some muddy waters. Well, that is all the time I have for this episode. Join me next time as we approach the new millennium in Godzilla 2000. Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man.